Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Dakota Gives Community Focus. Today, we are here with Mary Fischer, Nassib, and she is with So Good Now. So, Mary, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Barb.
You're welcome.
On behalf of the board of directors at So Good Now, I just want to say thank you to you, to your team here, and to Dakota Gives for uplifting our organization. We're really grateful.
Oh, you're welcome, Mary. Thanks for saying that. So today we want to talk about So Good Now and all the great work that you have done in the past few years. So can you share with me why you started So Good Now?
We started So Good Now in 2018 in response to what I believed was a gap in youth service, or the way we call it is youth philanthropy. Currently, or traditionally, most youth service projects are task-based. So what does that mean, right? Think back about your own kids and what service projects they were involved in. Most of them revolve around a single task, putting pencils or school items in a backpack. It's very task-oriented, vital, but task-oriented. Collecting canned goods, task-oriented and vital, but very needed. So 3 years prior to 2018, in 2015, I started to interview other parents of athletes. And I thought, don't you think we could do more? Don't you think we could do better? And the So Good Now Give Back model has been built in response to filling that need. So what does that look like, right? What's important about our model that separates us from traditional service projects is that we have 3 pillars. The first is that we build community. We then teach philanthropy, and then we inspire impact. So what does building community look like? We partner high school and college teams with youth from underserved areas. So think about that backpack. Think about that canned good. And now think about the face and the person and the other needs that come along with that little individual that these high school and college athletes get to serve in a meaningful way. The other part of the community that we're building a community of givers. I'm a coach. I'm a mother of 5 athletes. I'm a former college athlete, and I know what it takes to be good. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of effort, a lot of commitment, a lot of discipline. And why can't we translate those same skills to giving back to our community? Why don't we tap into those skills and push them out there where they're needed, get things done at the same time of practicing that? So that's the first part of what we do, is building that community. Second is we teach philanthropy, and that's an activity-based curriculum that involves leadership development. It involves mentoring. It involves event planning, fundraising, grant making. So it's a very holistic way to service, and these kids are dying for more. They're dying for more. And then really the third pillar of the So Good Now Give Back model is to inspire impact. It's what every parent wants of their child, is for them to pour the important things into them and have them launch and become good community leaders and good citizens. So that's how we're different, and that's what inspired me and the other moms to start this organization, was a desire to be able to do more and inspire our kids to do more as well.
I love it. So, Mary, when you first got started and you were recognizing what was lacking, how did you come up with the give back and the reaching the kids in the underserved areas and the high school and the college kids that were athletes? Like, how did you inspire them?
How do we actually get from an idea to an organization? It was hard. It took a lot of research, a lot of interviewing to understand that, was it just me that was seeing these things, or were other people seeing that we could do better, we could do more as well? And the answer was a resounding yes. So from there, I went to study philanthropy at the Wells Fargo Philanthropic Team in Philadelphia, where they granted out $30 million a year. I wanted to understand what current philanthropy looked like. And then I became a chartered advisor in philanthropy, which gives you a really broad-based understanding and knowledge of the philanthropic industry and the different stakeholders and how they all come to play in uplifting society. So that was the preparation of how we built the give back model. Then we have a saying at our organization, and we say it every day, is you learn by doing. All right. If I were to tell you, hey, read this book about basketball, and then we have a game on Sunday, okay? It doesn't work that way. And we believe that philanthropy, youth philanthropy, is the same as learning a sport. And that's why we focus on the athletes. So we got out there, we started doing it. First step was get the older kids to welcome the younger kids and tell them why they thought it was important to give back to others. And that's how we got started. Okay. And we had 90 kids in 2018.
Wow.
And we've served over 3,600 now. And
that's great.
Yeah,
that's
very
really
exciting.
So what about the challenges? What happened during this journey of yours?
The journey to building So Good Now, Youth Sports Philanthropy organization, has been challenging. But I also think that that's the reason why we choose athletes, because athletes understand what it's like to fail publicly and then get up and do it again. They also understand that without working together as a team, you can't win, right? And they also embrace diversity in roles. So those characteristics are what we've leaned on heavily. Think about it. We started in 2018 to say, will this work? Is it wanted, and does it have an impact? 2019, we broke stride and we started to get involved. We went from football to swim to volleyball. And then 2020, it came to an abrupt halt with COVID.
Right.
Wasn't easy because we were a new organization. But what we learned is in adversity, you build new tools. And now we have virtual trainings. We have video content that we probably never would have actually asked the athletes to make if we hadn't gone through COVID. I mean, when the kids were locked up, we called our athletes and we said, can you make, sometimes from their bunk beds, we asked them, can you inspire these young people to keep going? And they did. So now, where are we? We've had 2023 and 2024 where our programming has exploded. And all of the good that rests inside these student athletes and these high school and college players is being poured out where it's needed most. And we're just scratching the tip of the iceberg. So it's really exciting.
I love it. When we got involved with you, we had a lot of our Dakota lacrosse players come and partner with Mesa, which was a like on the road team for lacrosse. In middle school and the beginning of high school, we had those players. And you had said how you were surprised that the middle school kids really embraced all the kids that came from Chester that had no idea how to play lacrosse. Mesa Lacrosse was able to give everybody a free stick, which was huge. And Dakota is going to do that again. So can you share with me, when you make these partnerships with different companies or different sports teams or whatever, how do you get them to come back? Or do they just automatically say, we're going to do it again this year?
Yeah, so the Mesa Lacrosse give back that we had our first annual Mesa Lacrosse give back in October of last year, and it was a raging success. And why wouldn't it be, right? Because the leadership was comprised of Dakota employees, where Dakota has a culture of caring for their communities. They don't hire anyone that doesn't have a culture of caring.
Right.
So we're already predestined for success. Now you take these athletes who have played at a very high level, the commitment and sacrifice and discipline that they need to have personally to succeed at that level is something that doesn't go away. And of course, they're going to transfer it to their team. So now we go, and this is where we do our work. And this is the hard part, is threading that needle between the youth who are marginalized by society, the youth that are in hard to reach places, the youth who are in places where people don't want to go. We go get them. And now we introduce them to Dakota Gives. Through who? Through Mesa Lacrosse, because that's where the Dakota Gives employees live when they're not at work. So, but how did we get there? how did we get to that point? It's because of people like you who see philanthropy as more of an interactive process, not just write a check and say, hey, thanks for your good work. You see yourself as part of the team of all of the nonprofits in the area, and that's pretty noble and pretty admirable. But to get those companies back, we find it's not hard because they've been looking for a solution like ours.
Right.
And now we do ask for a 4-year commitment. We say, we expect this next year and 2 years from there, with the hope that it becomes a lasting, lifelong tradition. And we're coming up on our 6th year, so we have a few programs that are 5 years old, and they've all renewed.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It is. Yeah.
That's really great. So, Mary, our studio team was at Eastern University when we did the Mesa Lacrosse, and also did a beautiful video for when you went to Malvern Prep. So what did you do with those videos?
Those videos are so valuable. Thank you to Roberto and his team for just being there and telling our story. One of the hardest jobs we have is getting our story out. And just like the book about basketball, it's hard to read a book about basketball and understand it. And it's hard to understand what our give back model looks like unless you see it. So those videos we've put on our social media, we've sent out to our current donors, and we've sent out to prospects so that they can see themselves in those roles as well, because we are new. Nobody's doing it this way, so we have to show them, I think, and those videos have been a big help, a real gift.
Good. Well, you're welcome, Mary. So at Dakota, we believe that giving back is more than just a financial commitment. So hopefully other organizations, other companies, will get on board with that. As far as how people get involved, how do we get involved?
Lots of different ways, right? What's the catalyst to building a give back? Sometimes it's an athlete who wants to give more, and they'll see something on social media, and this has happened more than once. They'll stop me in a parking lot. They'll say, I saw what you're doing. I want to do that.
Oh, wow.
I had one young man who said, my mentor bought me my first set of golf clubs, and it's because of him that I'm the first person in my family to go to college. It's because of him that I'm successful in my career, and I want to be that person. And I can help you, and you can help me be this person. The other part is ADs, travel clubs. They want to build a more holistic culture. There's so much focus on achievement. And the focus, when you switch that focus from achievement to service, that's really when young people bloom, right? Because there's no I in team, that silly old phrase, but it helps them walk it out. And they feel renewed, they feel more connected to a higher purpose, and they've accomplished something good that's off the field. Many greats always talk about, it's not just about what happens on the field, it's about what happens off the field too. So the second way people could get involved would be through a coach. And third way would be a donor that is youth focused. And they say, we believe in volunteerism because we get all these young people volunteering. We believe in civic engagement. We want to get them involved in their communities. We want them to bring their voice to the table. Those are two ways donors can support things that they care about. Also, people that support philanthropy in general, by understanding that it's not just a check, right? That we have to have it built on what each community needs. And if you don't involve the people in the community, how effective are you going to be in the long run? So it could be from the player, the team, or the donor side.
Thank you, Mary, for being with us today. So Good Now is an organization that Dakota Gives supports since 2021. So today we were so grateful for Mary to come and share her story about So Good Now. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.